Okay, that looks good. Let's get a copy of that and put that on our site. There we go. Save. Save. Okay, we are live. Let me go ahead and hit record on this just to double check and make sure we got it. Okay, so welcome everybody. I am going to make sure Dr. Tom has the link. I sent it earlier, but he's a busy guy, and even though we're on every Wednesday, just want to double check. And let me just let me do that. So that looks good. And I'm actually going to do one more thing. So even though it's a little funny, a little awkward, but I'm going to go tell Jen real quick just to send Tom a message, just to make sure he got this. So hang on for just a second. Okay. Okay, pretty casual today, but that's good. I want to do something today, and so we'll see if Tom has a different idea. It's a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. Although my friend would probably say, "What are you talking about, Ralph?" Because it's super windy and blustery. But I love these kind of Pacific Northwest days. So today I want to do something for improved breathing, and you know, Tom's talked to us before about how I believe 75% of our detox, elimination of toxins, comes from our breathing, which is kind of cool because it's like people want to know how to get rid of all these toxins. If you've lived in a house that had lots of smoke, like I did when I was growing up smoking, or a long history of drugs or other kinds of substances or medications, or um, lived in toxic places or lots of vaccines, or whatever it is, to think that 75% of our detox happens out of our lungs, that's pretty cool. And there's some cool techniques that I'm going to take us through. You can try one right now while we wait for Dr. Tom, and he's got some new ones. And there are these things called strain counter strain. And so we're going to talk about how that all came to be. The work of Lawrence Jones, a doctor of osteopathy, old time doctor from a long time ago. And I believe he was Sharon Giammatteo's one of her research guides when she was getting her PhD. And and um and he developed a whole system around this, and the story around it is pretty cool. I guess he had an old cowboy kind of guy that was really bent over and had lots of pain and couldn't sleep and couldn't get in any position that was comfortable. And Dr. Jones did all sorts of stuff to try to alleviate it. He did adjustments, osteopathic adjustments, all sorts of manipulation techniques, all sorts of things, and nothing was working. So finally, one day he's like, you know what, today all we're going to do is try to find a position so that you can sleep. And he put him through all these positions and finally found one that was like, the guy said, wow, that feels really pretty good. I don't have any pain in this position. And it was a kind of funny looking position. So he propped him up and made sure he could get real comfortable. And he said, you know what, just sleep for the rest of the treatment. You're in no pain right now, just sleep. And he went and did his notes. And then he came back, and here's the key. He took him out of the position really slowly. If he would have taken him out of the position really fast, it probably wouldn't have worked. But he took him out really slowly, and the guy stood straight up and no pain and said, thanks, doc, and just left. And so that started Dr. Jones on a whole path of like, what just happened? And there's a whole physiology, a whole neurophysiology of why that works and why stretching doesn't work, not really, and why going into a position of ease and staying there for a period of time resets this feedback loop, this nervous system that sends nerves from the muscle that's tight to the spinal cord that then tells the muscle to relax. By putting it in a position of ease, you turn down that feedback loop. And if you take them out of the position really slowly, that feedback loop is shifted and the muscle is no longer in spasm. So that became a whole body of work, strain, counter strain, Dr. Lawrence Jones. And then Sharon came along and was teaching that stuff with the Upledger Institute, and so was Tom. And they developed strain, counter strain for arteries and veins and livers and hearts and all sorts of stuff. And it's awesome. I mean, it's one of our simple techniques. For us, it's simple, but it's kind of like, we have so many advanced techniques and skills that sometimes we forget how profound this one simple thing is. So I'm going to give you one right now and just do a test. Take your right arm, and go up and down and see how tight or loose it feels, and twist a little bit and see how tight or loose you feel. Bend a little bit, and then we'll do this position. And we're going to hold it for a minute. So what I want you to do, just do it with me, is to slouch, stay slouched, and then turn to the right 30 degrees. And just kind of estimate 30 degrees. It's almost as far as you can go probably. And then bend to the left, drop your left shoulder about 35 degrees, just a little bit right there. And now we're going to hold this. I'm going to just keep an eye on the clock. We're going to hold this for a little over a minute. And what you can do is do this once a day or so and hold it for a minute. You can hold it for 1 or 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes even. And if you hold it for longer than a minute, it has a whole body effect. But we're going to do it for about a minute. And there's a whole body of work called visceral manipulation, the work of another osteopath, Jean-Pierre Barral, great osteopath from France. And he has a whole system of techniques to use your hands and free up the liver, like loosen it up, free up all the attachments so that it moves really well, so you can breathe better, so the liver works better. And you have to be really skilled and really trained up in it, and take your time and do it just so, and you can do this. But the funny thing is, this technique does that, and it does it without stretching, and it does it without any kind of chance of harm, because you're not doing anything but putting a body in a position of ease. So we're coming up on a minute. Let's go just another few seconds, because I want you to really feel something. In fact, we'll do it a little bit more. We'll say, let's yeah, there we go. All right, so now come out of the position slowly, and then raise your arm and see if it's a little different, especially your right arm. You can even compare it to the left arm and see if that's a little different. And then twist and twist and bend and bend and see if you're a little different on that side. And if you want, walk around a little bit. I'm going to check the YouTube and see what people are saying. At least I think I'm going to check the YouTube. We're on YouTube. Let me just go grab that. Yeah, let me know what you notice, because Tom has, I think, 5 or 6 new ones for the area around the liver. We'll do another one here in a second. Here we go. Let's just see if anybody's commenting yet. Comment in the comment section if you can instead of the chat. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Okay, so now let's do one for the other side, the stomach area. So slouch, and then turn to the left about 30 degrees or so. And this time bend to the right just a little bit, about 20 degrees. And just hold that. Here comes somebody in the door.
Tom had an emergency come up.
Oh, so he's not going to be on?
Yeah,
okay.
I apologize, but
that's okay. We'll do a little strain counter strain. So Tom can't be on. I'm going to show you these. So let's run through a few strain counter strains. And then you can feel really good today. So we're going to just see the time. Slouch, turn, tilt. And if you want a little video of just these two, let me know. Just message me, email me, and I'll send them over to you. It's part of a whole series that we use with our group monthly sessions and of course, my one-on-one sessions. Go another 30 seconds or so. So you've slouched, you've turned to the left about 30 degrees, and you tilted to the right. You dropped your right shoulder about 20 degrees, and you're just hanging out. The key is to just stay nice and still. And then the other key is to come out of it really slow when we come out of it. And it resets the nerves, the nervous system, the spinal cord, and the nerves that go to the muscles and the ligaments and the organs. This one's for the stomach, which sits right under the rib cage on the left. Okay, so now come on out nice and slow. And then try your left arm and see if that feels a little looser, different. And try your right arm, bend your body and see how that feels. Twist and twist. And let me know what you're noticing. Let me know what's different. Let's see what people are saying. Okay. Yeah, so let's do another one. Tom has 5 and I could walk us through it, but I think what I'd rather do is if you're interested in more, to get right into this rib cage and loosen it up so you can breathe deeper and help with your detox, let me know. In fact, just take a big breath right now. And then all the way out. Every bit of it out. And take a big breath in. And all the way out. And one more. Big breath in. And all the way out. And then relax. And then just lift your arms and see how you feel. And let me know what you notice. You know, one of the things that I find is I feel it's important to go through the body. And by that, I mean, yeah, we want to clear fears and anxieties, and for the entrepreneurs, what's called imposter syndrome, and really have a life that's less disease and less unease and more ease and flow and abundance. But if your body is really unhealthy, if you've got medical conditions, if you're taking pills from doctors because of conditions and just masking the symptoms, if you're tired, if it's tough to walk, if it's like a chore to do something physical, you're not really at your best. And what I found is to clear the stuff that's in the way of your healing, your physical healing, makes it easier to connect with, I believe, to connect with spirit and to clear fears and anxiety. Because if you can breathe, you can relax. And there's a little space. So these are 2 techniques that you can use, the one for the liver and the one for the stomach, to let your diaphragm go up and down the way it's supposed to, and breathe deeper and detox more, and for all your organs to function better. You know, one of the interesting things is if you puncture somebody's rib cage or lungs, nothing flops out. It sucks in, right? It's a collapsed lung. It all sucks in. If you puncture somebody's belly, all the intestines would flop out. So that's kind of gruesome, but you get the idea. It's like, it's a positive pressure. It's all the stuff would come out. The lungs, all of it would go in. So you have what's called a negative pressure, a vacuum in your lungs, and then you have a positive pressure in your belly, and it's separated by this diaphragm, and the diaphragm goes up and down with your breathing, and it's got little holes in it that have places for your arteries and veins to go through. and your lymphatics and your nerves and your spinal cord. So quite an amazing mechanical type situation to have a negative pressure vacuum right next to a positive pressure with a diaphragm that goes up and down and allows blood and nervous system impulses to go up and down. And one of the amazing things is if you took your liver out of your body and weighed it, it would weigh a certain amount, of course. Inside your body, it weighs a lot less. And the reason is all your organs weigh a lot less in your body than they do outside of your body. And the reason is there's a negative pressure, there's a vacuum in your lungs. And that negative pressure attracts things to it. And so it attracts the liver and all the organs to it. So it supports them. So if you're dealing with a prolapse in your uterus or cervix or bladder issues or lots of inguinal hernia stuff or distended belly, that's a lot of pressure on organs. And that means the flow isn't in there. Blood isn't coming in and out as easily as it should. And waste products are there. And it's hard to feel good if you've got that kind of thing going on. But if your lungs are expanded and healthy, you can go all the way out and all the way in and exchange all that air. You're detoxing a lot. Every breath is a detox. And the negative pressure is optimized. The vacuum is optimized. And so all your organs are supported. And then you can float through space and then stuff moves. Movement, life is movement. And if you can't move, if there's things you can't do physically, I don't care if you're 30 or 70 or 80, if you've got physical issues, it's real hard to be at ease in your body and to connect to spirit, I feel. So these strain counter strain positions, one for the liver, one for the stomach, are two of thousands of techniques that we have that are called strain counter strain for different parts. We have some for the heart and the lungs, and there's a whole book on these. Some you can't do to yourself, but some you can do to yourself from Sharon with strain counter strain positions, all of them different strain counter strains. There's one actually for the vas deferens. We went straight for the pelvic floor. There's some for the prostate and small intestines. So there's techniques to help unlock the physical problems in your body. And while I used to do it almost exclusively, I used to do it exclusively in person with hands-on, there's ways to do it at a distance now. So if you're dealing with a physical thing that's in your way, let me know. You can go get the whole masterclass on healing, autoimmuneanswers.com, whole masterclass. And if you're dealing with fears and anxieties and imposter syndrome, and you're just scared, we got this wonderful success story from one of the coaches in our coaching group. And he was dealing with severe, significant imposter syndrome, he called it, and anxiety and fear about releasing his products and doing his stuff and lots of self-conscious stuff. And we did one session, and I emailed him, I just got the email back yesterday, a week later, and said, how's it going? He goes, well, amazing. I haven't even had to do that technique because it's like, it is all gone. And he started to attribute it to other things also. And I'm like, dude, you've been doing other things also for years. You did this one thing a week ago, and now it's all gone. So when you clear things that are in the way of your healing, it can seem so seamless that your ego, your mind, can totally discount what actually did it. And the problem with that is then you don't know what worked, even though it worked magically. And so you don't do more of that sort of thing, and you start going in all sorts of other ways and you forget. So what I suggest is count the miracles. When you're on these calls with me, when you're on these videos, notice the miracles, write them down, put them in a little journal. I got a little journal, I got a few different journals, and it's really good to take note of the miracles, because these techniques, these videos, the free stuff that I do, it can literally change your life. But would you know it? And would you attribute it to these seemingly simple videos and sessions and techniques? So encourage you to keep your eyes open, count the miracles. And if you want more of these techniques to loosen up the area around your diaphragm, let me know. And then if you want the full masterclass, autoimmuneanswers.com. And if you want the crush anxiety and fear and imposter syndrome for you entrepreneurs, ralphhavens.com /crush imposter syndrome. So we're going to call it today. Dr. Tom had an emergency, and I will see you guys all next week. Keep an eye out on my YouTube and my Facebook, because we do lots of free stuff, and I got more cool stuff coming your way, and really good ways to work with you. And if you're interested in talking to me, if you really want to get your stuff figured out, let me know. Every once in a while, I open up a little time to chat. And if you want to work one-on-one and you're ready to really make a difference in your life, really do it. Let me know. All right, bye now.